In this presentation, you'll hear about the things a resume is supposed to do in your job search, what your resume should look like and what you should put into it. Plus, you'll walk through a 7-step process called the gold mining technique, which can help your resume get you closer to your career goals. Details about the information discussed will be found in the printed materials created especially for this brief presentation. So, let's get started. An effective resume should work just like a sales brochure. It should contain your top selling points that show why an employer should give you an interview, because you really are the person that deserves to get the job. But the employer doesn't know that yet. You have to stand out against your competition with a track record of success that proves you can help the employer make lots of money and solve problems. So your resume must have details about the things you've done to help your previous employers become successful. People start companies to make lots of money, and they always encounter problems that must be solved, just like we all do in our personal lives. So it's part of your job to help employers do those things. And that's why you need to remember this. Employers assume you'll help them be successful if you can show that you've done that for other employers. So effective communication by using a resume targeted to a specific job is always an important thing to do. The information you're getting in this presentation is based on material in a book by career coach Robin Ryan called Winning Resumes. The 7 steps of this technique can make your resume more attention-getting and make your resume open the doors to job interviews. Step 1 of the gold mining technique is the easiest step. Determine what your job goal will be. This will be a specific job title, usually a job that needs to be filled, but it's not necessary for the job to be open. You can still submit resumes to be considered for a job that isn't open yet. The job title will be used in your career objective or job objective section at the top of the first page, after your contact information. Keep in mind that the information which follows your job title must prove that you can successfully perform that job. Otherwise, some of your resume information may be totally unnecessary. Next, you'll gather and organize your education information. See page 1 of your printed handout for more details about how to write out this information. Many people put their education section at the end of their resumes, but you can also put that information closer to the beginning of your resume if you believe that will promote you more effectively for the job. It's all up to you. Some applicants prefer to not list their education information because they didn't go to college-level training. For most Texas Panhandle area employers, they'll expect to see your education background, so you should consider sharing that information on your resume. The 3rd step is an important step where you'll be mining for the gold from your background. You'll now focus on what you did for past employers that helped their company make money and solve problems. And then you'll highlight that information so you can come back to work on it later. You can get this information from old resumes, applications, job descriptions, and any other documents that contain your relevant career information. Those connections you're now discovering in your career are your accomplishments that justify you getting a job that you want. When you review those accomplishments one at a time, you should ask yourself, what was I doing on that job, and what happened as a result? The actions you took on a job and the positive results of your actions are what you have to share in your resume. It's never enough to just ask an employer to hire you. You'll always have to prove that you deserve that job more than anyone else. In step 5, you'll focus on the first accomplishment that you found, and now you'll write a power statement. A good example would be, created a new Excel spreadsheet to track warehouse inventory, which saved time and money when creating shipments. A resume without relevant accomplishments written as power statements will never be very effective. So always have power statements and make sure they're about things you can do for the employer that are meaningful. After you've written your first power statement, it's now time to move on to step 6 and work on the other accomplishments you found that you'll put in your resume. Write a power statement for every relevant accomplishment and make sure that the statements show your value. In other words, when you get the job, you'll do things to make money, save time, and solve problems for the employer. Towards the end of the gold mining technique, you'll revise and rewrite your power statements as needed, and then you'll be ready for step 7. This last step will be when you're ready to prioritize your finished power statements in order of importance so that you can set up your summary of qualifications. This section is vitally important, and you should strive to have some kind of a summary in your resume, even if you don't use the gold mining technique. And your summary should provide the top evidence that proves you deserve the job. Last, your summary should be located in the top third to top half of your resume's first page. If the employer can't find the evidence, you'll probably not get the interview or the job. What else should you do anytime you write a resume? Proofread it more than once and try to get someone else to proofread it too. Write more about your accomplishments in your jobs. Spend less space going into too much detail about your job duties. If possible, keep your resume under 2 pages in length. Say more with less. Avoid listing personal information like your social security number, your hobbies, where you go to church, or who you voted for. And don't put the reason why you no longer work at a company. Also, have plenty of white space so that your resume is easier to read. Have margins that are 3/4 of an inch to an inch in width. Use professional-looking white or off-white paper. Make sure your resume style is conservative or business-oriented. Gimmicks are never a good idea. Don't use a font size lesser than 10 point. And the best resume fonts to use are Arial, Garamond, and Times New Roman. You'll find additional recommendations on pages 3 and 4 in your printed materials. The Workforce Solutions office in Amarillo offers a free resume workshop twice a month. Check the events calendars at wspanhandle.com or the bottom of your workintexas.com homepage for more information. And let staff know if you have any additional questions. Good luck and thanks for your time.